Hey guys, welcome to another news breakdown here on SHODO Pop. Alright, as always, I'm your host of Frozen Stratos, and today we're just going to be taking a look at everything that came out of the Kamen Rider Candy Toy news blog. It's slightly different because it's not just the SHODO news blog anymore. It is the Candy Toy, or Kamen Rider Candy Toy news blog. They went through a whole merger thing. Well, not really, because they were all sort of the same thing anyway, but they merged the two blogs together just so that they could have everything under one thing, and they could show off to people that just sign into SHODO. They could show off a little bit of SHODO and what that has to offer. So I'm very excited for everything that's going to be coming out of that. But yeah, as you can see here, we're just going to be diving right into Burning Falcon. Now, this figure has been long awaited. It is our very first figure of AI-07. He looks fantastic, and he comes with his wings. And I do want to note, they didn't, say anything about the wings. They didn't, specify anything. They could be saving that for later if they have another piece or something, or... yeah, or they just don't want to talk about it at all. It does seem like a different mold in this picture and a picture that we'll see later showing something else off. It does look like it's a little flatter than the original one, but that, just could be the angle playing tricks on me. Another thing, again, it could be the angle, but it does look like the wings are angled up a bit higher than the original release, because those seemed... from tip to tip, it was a bit straighter, but these are, pointed up a little more. So yeah, in this next image, we get to see the Slash Riser. So they are confirming that we are getting the, handheld weapon form of this, so that's really good. And here's where you can see sort of that angle in the wings that was a little hard to tell in that last image. Again, could be the blur, could be any number of things, but this does seem to have a bit of an angle to it. And the wings do look a little flatter than the initial release, because those had those grooves in it. But again, they didn't say anything about it. So I am interested to see what they would have to say and how these are going to come out once we get them. But yeah, this guy looks great. He has this brilliant red on him, so the next thing they wanted to note is that they went through 12 color samples to get the chest on this just right. And they said, oh yeah, this is a 400 yen per boxer, one figure for 800 yen piece. So we don't really have the budget to sort of paint everything in this shimmery red that they wanted to. So they had to mold it themselves. And if you notice, it does have a little bit of metallic flake to it. It is a metallic red that they were going for, and this is an absolute success here. And on top of that, the paint matches really well with it. So this all looks very good. All their hard work didn't go to waste. Typically with, if you look at the RKF or something like that, this is a type of color that the plastic could easily look a bit transparent and cheap, but this is still, it has that dense quality, so I absolutely appreciate this. Another thing they noted was that they added these sort of wine red accents to it to sort of break up the sort of really bold red, and I definitely appreciate it, as well as all the sort of black trim around this thing. There's a lot of detail in here that's mostly painted, I'm seeing. So I'm really happy about everything I've seen here. But actually, that's it for the news blog in terms of SHODO, because they didn't really give us a wave breakdown or anything. They haven't done that in a while. I'm not quite sure why, but they transitioned right into SHODO. We are getting the release of SHODO-X 8. I believe it's in Japan today, and in and around the same time, whoever's importing their stuff, you should be getting, or should have already gotten, your pre-order notices. But if you haven't already, go ahead and start checking on those websites, and maybe they'll have some up. So yeah, they wanted to do a little bit more of an in-depth look at these, so yeah, let's just dive right into the first figure in this set. It is Stronger. So he's one of the only ones that has a Shodo versus comparison attached to him. What they did with this guy was that they completely remolded the head. Well, I don't want to say like completely, but like the eyes are very different. They have a lot more dots to them. And top to bottom, just they decided to change the sort of tint of the color of everything, and it certainly works. It has that like realistic look to it. And you get those little green orbs on the bottom of his chest, like to fill out the rest of his chest armor. So that looks neat. Another thing to note is that they remolded the hands. So the initial one, you know, it was a bit more mushy, and I'm pretty sure the rest of these hand options are just carryovers from other riders, but it's these posed hands over to the right that they did some remolding on, and they definitely look great. And we get to see a better look at the dots in the eyes with a very nice metallic green. So this all looks very nice. Another thing though, the bike, if you didn't know, you could have the off-road and the regular version of this thing, and these look spectacular against the Shodo-O guardrails, so make sure to bring those back if you want to display it with that. These look fantastic. Absolutely happy to see these. Next up, they wanted to show off the the charged up version of Stronger. Yeah, charged up. He looks fantastic. Apparently the original release of this guy was in Shodo Versus when they were doing like the blind bag stuff. Like he was a variant to Stronger. So I'm glad to just sort of get this, and it was just an easy repaint for them to do. He looks great, and you can complete this display. I'm pretty sure, or I have a feeling this is from some sort of crossover movie. That's why Stronger is in his charged up form and everyone else is just sort of there. We are getting so close to having everything in Shodo-X. Riderman is the only holdout here, so I'm hoping for him very soon. Next up, though, they wanted to talk about Blade, Kenzaki himself. This dude looks fantastic, and I don't know why, but Shodo always pulls out all the stops for these pictures. This looks phenomenal, and he is here to fill out your Heisei Phase 1 rider collection, as long as you sort of fudge in Soto, Deno in there. But, you know, obviously you should, because they're complementary lines and you're supposed to collect them together. Come on, guys, collect these together. Why aren't you collecting Shodo? I don't understand. So yeah, these guys look so good together. Another thing that I had no idea going into this about Kenzaki about Blade was that he comes with a dummy version, like a non-painted version of his sword. So if you wanted to just buy his box, you'd have his sword and you'd be good to go. But if you're like me, and I guess the rest of the people who have to import this, you're getting the accessory set, and he comes with a beautifully painted sword and some option hands. These look fantastic. He has the splayed out, sort of fanned out like card thing. This all looks really cool. Also, speaking of cards, he does have those sort of huge cards that he could run into and you can use as display stuff. And speaking of display stuff, they made sure to show off that these are Shokugan base compatible, so you can have them sort of stand up and pose them with that, and it looks phenomenal. This looks fantastic. I don't know why you're buying Shodo. Definitely do that. Another thing they can do with this guy is that you can actually take the scarf off of Ichigo or Nigo and turn him into the evil Kamen Rider Blade. I was mistakenly calling this guy Kamen Rider Sword just because the blog said it was from a Hyper Battle DVD called Kamen Rider Sword vs. Blade. But that might have been a mistranslation or something. Josh and Malunis quickly corrected me on that. You can get that later on in the Soda Pop podcast. But that does sort of bring us to the end of the episode. And I'll be announcing our topic for next week's Soda Pop podcast episode before, I post this week's. So basically, it sort of relates to what they just showed here. What are your guys' sort of lazy customs, like quick and easy customs you do to your collection to sort of add value? And like add an extra character to your collection. In the next episode, not the one coming up this week, but next week's episode of the Soda Pop podcast, I'll be talking about everything I've been doing with my Gaim Candy toy figures, and just try to get some figures, some representation out of these figures that just never existed in the toy line itself, just like with this guy. And also, another thing I really wanted to note, I have not forgotten about the Pokemon fans of this show. We had a comment from Repeat DC 2325 who was asking about the Shoto Pokemon updates, and he's really looking forward to the Mimikyu, who says, I know it'll scale up with Pokken Action Hero line, so he's very excited. I am sad to say that there's no sort of blog that they have for us to mine knowledge from, and they pretty much just drop whenever they feel like it. But Peacemaker2448, who has been absolutely on top of all of the changes that came to the schedule because of the big thing that's happening everywhere, the global quarantine thing. He did say that Shoto Pokemon 2 should come out the 20th of this month, assuming no delays happen. So make sure, if you haven't gotten your pre-orders, make sure to get the... they might be order stopped now, but make sure to keep your eyes peeled on that date, because once they come out, they'll probably have extras to sell. So yeah, or, get a buddy and sort of split that box with them. See what happens. I don't know. But I haven't forgot about you Pokemon guys. It's just that there's no blog. I don't have anything for you. I'm so sorry. But yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you like this episode, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. Head in to the Discord to go ahead and respond to the show topic for the next Soda Pop podcast. I'm going to be putting, a full-on question thing in there, so go ahead and interact there if you are so inclined. Guys, thanks for watching. Keep it juicy.